I'm looking better as I get older. God. They might fade on you, but they are just appearing on me.
You're not going to be this fine wine when you become 90 years old, okay?
You watch and see.
You're going to be a dried up grape. Okay.
That was a good one. Everybody, and welcome back to yet another amazing episode After School with the Lawsons. And yes, I'm your host, the funny guy, Daniel Lawson, and you guys will not believe it. Listen, I have today a very special guest. 2 weeks in a row. I can't believe it. I mean, you guys are getting her more than I get her. My beautiful wife, Whitney Lawson.
Hello.
Thanks for joining me again, because she doesn't feel real great today.
Yeah, I got a really bad migraine.
Yeah.
Aunt Flo is about to come visit again, so.
Oh, it's that time of season for us men, you guys. It's rough for us.
Is it a season?
I mean, yeah, it's a depressing part of the month. It's a season, and seasons change, you know. So, it's a rough time for us. And when I speak for mankind, whenever I say us, it's not just me. I mean, it's rough for you too, I would imagine.
Rough for me too.
Yeah. Yeah.
You act like you're going through this with me.
Yeah. Oh, it's a process. But 3 episodes ago, it seems like you were going through the same problems.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I mean, it happens every 27 to 30 days. Yep. So
tune in next month for the same story.
About 3 episodes from now.
So what do you got going on today? What's not feeling well?
I just got a really bad migraine.
Yeah.
It's from here down into my neck. So
is it weather related?
I don't know.
Do you think it's Mother Nature related?
I think it's a little bit of both. But it's probably just Aunt Flo, because even with my emergency migraine medicine, it's still not going away fully.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that's what it is. And I'm due.
You're due for what?
Aunt Flo to arrive. Women keep track of that.
I thought you was about to throw one on me here on the podcast or something.
No, that's impossible. I had all my,
all things are possible.
Well, yeah, that's true. But honestly, if we had another baby, Mimi, here's your child.
No, we'll sell this one. I can't do another one.
When I had Cadence, almost 12 years ago, I was, in my 20s, and I was like, man, this is so easy. I had all this energy. Yeah. And then 10 years later in my 30s with Layton, it's the complete opposite. I'm so exhausted, literally going from your 20s and having a baby to your 30s. The energy level is completely, it's fallen.
Yeah. Do you think a lot of it has to do with her being 2?
No. A lot of it has to do with the energy
your
level.
Age?
In my age.
You should get your estrogen levels checked.
Well, my mom said that, with her mom, she had a lot of problems with her energy and all that. So she used to get vitamin B12 injections, and that would help her. So I might look into that.
Or you can take albuterol shot of an inhaler like our 2-year-old. Tell them about that story.
So
real quick, just to recap everything, this past week,
within the past 2 weeks, honestly,
has been rough on us because of Layton being so sick. And we finally found out after the 3rd trip to Russellville
to the doctor,
she has, or had, she's kind of getting over it now, pneumonia in both lungs. So double pneumonia.
Yeah. And so she had 2 shots of Rosefin, poor thing, tore up her legs.
And those shots, whenever she got them, her
leg instantly swells. And it leaves a knot. And, it's tough for a 2-year-old to get a shot regardless. Yeah. And then probably 3-4 different types of steroids and antibiotics, liquids, whatever. So anyways, they sent her home with an inhaler as well. And we didn't know that you're not supposed to do it before bed because it says you could do it every 4 to 6 hours.
Yeah, she was like, go, just do it every 4 to 6 hours.
And we're like, well, she's wheezing a little bit, so let's give her another dose before bed. Biggest mistake of our lives, because that kid, she normally goes to bed around, what, 8 o'clock?
Yes,
she was up until almost 4 a.m., like literally bouncing off the walls. And we're like, what is going on? We had no clue. We didn't even think
until the next morning.
Until the next day. And you're like, I wonder if it was that albuterol. And then it popped in my head. I was like, my mom did say with my brother growing up having asthma, albuterol or any kind of breathing treatment, I guess it being a steroid, it always made him hyper, like bouncing off the walls. And I'm like, that had to be it. And then the doctor confirmed. So that was rough.
So note to self, if you're listening, write down right now, type it in your phone. Do not give albuterol inhalers to 2-year-olds at bedtime. Not a good idea.
If you want a quick coffee, go straight for the albuterol. I mean,
that's what the next morning I was like, I told Whitney, I was like, maybe I should take a shot of this albuterol because I'm exhausted. And if it did that to her, I mean, why not?
Well, what's funny is I think it might do something similar because when I had pneumonia, I was in the hospital one time and they gave me a breathing treatment. Yeah. And you know how it makes you shaky, like she was shaky when she had her breathing treatment, Layton. But instantly, as soon as I finished it, I started laughing so hard to where I was crying and could not catch my breath, laughing so hard to where even the nurses were laughing. No, the breathing treatment, but it's albuterol. And and I was like, am I okay? And the nurses were like, no, that's a normal reaction. It does that to some people. And I was just laughing hysterically, and shaking and laughing. I thought I was going crazy.
Interesting.
But I mean, it does that, you know. Funny. I guess it makes kids hyper and makes us loony. I mean, I don't know, but.
Well, yeah, that's what we've been dealing with the past couple of weeks, actually. It's been lingering, I feel like she's been sick for 3 weeks.
Well, she does have to go back to the doctor here in about a week and a half just to follow up with the pneumonia. Unfortunately, I can still hear it in her chest, and I just don't think that it's completely gone away. Yeah. I'm just going to tell the doctor to do another chest x-ray, and honestly, I don't know what the steps are from there if it's not cleared. I mean, because even when she coughs, you can hear it come up, and then she's
so young, she can't spit it out.
She swallows it right. So I don't know what they do for that age. You know what I mean? Yeah. In order to get it out of your lungs. So it kind of scares me just a little bit because how do you get rid of something?
Well, hopefully
like
with the antibiotics she's on and her follow up, I don't know when that is. It should be coming up though next week, but.
Because I can still hear her wheezing a little bit whenever she breathes.
Surely that antibiotic will kick it in and whatnot. But
stuff like that is stressful, regardless of the age of your, children, whether they're 2 or 15 or whatever, when you have a kid that's sick, it's stressful regardless. But when they're this young, it's extremely stressful to where it turns my stomach to where I can't eat, can't sleep.
It's exhausting too mentally. I mean, you're up all night.
Well, it's to the point because they can't tell you, know, hey, mommy, my stomach hurts, or hey, this, and that's the issue. Like Cadence, if she's sick, she could say, hey, I don't feel good, my stomach hurts. With Layton, them being that young, you got to figure it out. And then it's like, if you don't figure out the right thing, you kind of feel guilty, man, I should have knew this is what
just
was
like gas
going
pain.
on.
That one time she was having she was moaning all night, and finally I was like, I think she's got gas, so we gave her these,
and she was
tablets,
crying and screaming.
Yeah, it was bad. She hadn't had gas since she was a few
newborn.
months old.
Yeah. I mean, it's just stressful when they're this young. I mean, even when they can talk, when they're this young and they get sick, they're just so helpless, and you just want to do anything you can to take it away. And then if they're in any type of pain, or if they're at the hospital, I remember when Cadence was her age, and they had to strap her down in the hospital and give her an IV because she had RSV, and she's looking at me saying, "Mommy, help me." And I mean, gosh, I hate it when my kids are sick.
I don't know if, the listeners have children, but, even with Layton, we don't know when she's running a fever half the time because she's running around playing, having a good time. They're so relentless.
She doesn't
at that
act
age.
any different. No. The first sign is her cheeks start to flush.
Rosy, yeah.
And then that's when you're like, hey, we might want to check her.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's because she normally never acts any different.
It's weird. Yeah. And it could be all kids. I mean, you could be listening and saying, oh, yeah, that's little Johnny. But, you know, maybe it's just kids in general just because they're so young.
I think maybe once she, like, was very lethargic. Yeah. And then that's when we knew, you know, hey, we need to check her temperature or whatever. But other than that, she's normally eating, drinking, playing, everything, and then her cheeks start to flush. And we're like, so.
Well, as you guys can tell, we're in some PJs. She wanted to do a little pajama party episode, or she didn't want to get dressed. I don't really know.
I didn't want to get dressed because it's 9 o'clock, and I got a migraine.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be showering and going to bed soon. So I was like, well, let's just PJ it out. And I put my fancy slippers on.
I don't have cute PJs like her. I sleep in my briefs, okay? I don't have... She's like, oh, do you got any plaid pants? No. I wear boxer briefs, or not even...
I don't wear this cute stuff to bed.
No, it's usually a dirty Walmart-looking T-shirt and a pair of shorts. You'll wear that Monday and Tuesday, and then you'll try to rotate.
I don't wear the same thing every single night.
You'll rotate shorts.
And T-shirts.
I feel like they're just stained up.
Yeah, those are my sleeping shirts.
Mm-hmm.
They're if you look at them, the most raggedy, stained up ones, those are the most comfortable. And they're the oversized, because I don't like it when they're tight like this and you can't move. It's like, I don't want to feel constricted while I sleep. I hate that feeling, like to where I got to stretch my clothes out and pull. I don't like that. Like, I just want to be able to breathe and relax. And
well, you look cute. I mean, you look great last episode, but you look cute, like a cozy cute.
Thanks. Now, if we were first dating, this is something I would wear to bed. But now that we're married,
I wouldn't stay on that long.
And you already put a ring on it. I take the makeup off, the contacts come out, and you see me in boxer shorts and a raggedy T-shirt.
Yeah, another note for you listeners to take down. Make sure she ain't wearing makeup one day before you marry this girl, okay? Which Whitney looks beautiful without makeup. You don't have to hardly put any on.
Maybe wore makeup a few times. Yeah. I mean,
she puts a little, like, what is that, foundation
and mascara, maybe a little
lip
lipstick
stuff, but she doesn't do the eye stuff.
I don't do eyeliner and eyeshadow.
You got a natural beauty.
But even now, I still don't hardly wear makeup at all. Like, if we go out to dinner or something, I might, or something like that. But if we just go out on a daily basis, or even when we were dating, I just don't hardly feel the need.
Yeah. And that, my friends, is true beauty. But you need to find out what she looks like under that disguise, because she could be a little creepy. Well, you ever see
these like TikTok videos? Like,
oh, yeah, the woman without teeth and stuff?
Well, it's not just one woman, which there's nothing wrong with that if anyone has dentures or anything. I think she had
a disease.
No,
yes, she had a disease. She got pregnant.
I'm not talking about her. I'm just talking about people in general. Like, some people have bad teeth or whatever, but there's nothing wrong with having dentures or whatever.
I'm missing a tooth, actually.
But I'm just saying, there's a lot of. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of people out there who do like these reveals to where it's like it goes from no teeth and looking crazy, and then they look like a model after, and it's like, to whomever is going to be dating this person, if they see him with makeup and all this, it's like, not to say that you're ugly or anything, but your partner may want to see you without the makeup and everything else, to where they're not disappointed or upset, to where you're not like catfishing them, because they might be a little...
Yeah, you better take off that war paint.
Peed off.
Yeah. I would be pissed. I'd be like, what? I didn't see this.
Yeah.
This is new to me.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, so we're in our PJs and
that'd almost be like you
interrupted me again.
I'm sorry. That'd almost be like you having a beard one day.
I do have a beard.
I know, but you having a beard and then the next day, like, just shaving it off. And
No. We date. I have a beard all through our, couple years of dating. The day of the marriage,
wedding, you shave it off.
I shave it off. And
I'm like, who is this guy?
As soon as you see me, you're like, am I at the wrong venue or what?
You're like, no. They're like, no, that's your future husband. I'm like, no, it's not. I don't recognize that guy.
Put it back on. Yeah, if I shave now, I would look terrible.
Well, what's funny is what popped up on my Facebook memories, I think yesterday, was that filter.
One? Yeah, that was
where
terrible.
I said, oh, hell no.
Yeah. She put a filter. So it was a filter, and you guys probably know, it was the Snapchat filter that removes facial hair. And my beard was a little bit longer, so it replaces the facial hair with skin.
So it made you look fat.
I look like Peter Griffin, to be 100% honest with you guys. I look terrible. And
I was
it's
like,
nasty.
oh no.
But so we're in our PJs. We briefly talked last week about, we really ended the podcast on like a really emotional side, I felt like, about our relationship and, what works for our love, and just a lot of sweet stuff that was saying. So what I want to talk about today is your past relationship. I think is important for, people could be going through something, or people could have came from something and is searching for somebody. But like the stuff you went through in your previous marriage, how did you grow from that? And you can tell them a story or two, but like it wasn't the greatest for any individual,
Right.
So yeah.
So what do you want me to say about it?
Tell them about your marriage. Like, tell them what all happened through, while you were pregnant, after you had Cadence, and just what kind of unplugged you from, like, how you ended up leaving Texas and are now here in Bowling Green with the love of your life, me.
Well, that's going to be like a long story if I were to tell all of that.
I know. I'm just saying, like, a brief description of how you grew from that, going through those issues.
Well, we could start there.
Like,
so as far as growing from that, I think I learned from that relationship my self-worth, which is super important. Not a lot of people realize I'm worthy of love, or I'm worthy of this or that, or I deserve this. And I very much realized that, hey, I don't deserve to be treated like this. I'm a person, I have feelings. And
at what part of the relationship, though, did you have that wake up call? Like, was there something that happened? Did someone talk to you?
As soon as I had Cadence.
Oh, gotcha.
That's when I knew I was responsible for another human. That's when, honestly, my eyes opened and I really knew what true love was as soon as I had a child. Like, I felt like I was in love with him, but you never know. As a mom, speaking as a mom, I don't know about dads or even other women, but speaking for myself, I didn't know what true love was until I had Cadence. And that's when I was like, wow, this person. Rewind real quick. So before I even met him, I felt so lonely, and I would constantly pray to God, send me somebody, because I felt so alone. And I'm like, I don't want to spend the rest of my life alone. I want to have somebody I can spend the rest of my life with, who I can love forever. They'll love me back. I was so afraid of being alone, and I don't know why I had that fear. And when I married my ex-husband, I thought, God had answered my prayers. That wasn't it. But what came out of that situation was Cadence. So he technically did answer my prayers, because if you think about it, I'm never going to be alone because I have a child. That's someone who's going to love me unconditionally, and I'm going to love them back. But that's what, when I opened my eyes and realized, I don't deserve to be treated like this, and I'm not going to raise my child in this and have them grow up seeing that their mom being treated like this, or a woman being treated like this, is okay, because then they're going to repeat that cycle.
Right.
And
or feel like it's okay to get treated
and I'm
that way.
like, I was like in mama bear mode, I'm like, I have to protect this little person, and I'm going to protect them with everything that I can. And that's when it just clicked, I'm worth more than this, and I don't deserve to be treated like this. And then that's when it's literally like I couldn't cry anymore or nothing, as long as I had my kid. And I was okay physically, mentally. Then that was fine.
Yeah.
So one day I left everything, let him have the car, furniture, everything, packed up 3 duffel bags, and we flew from where we were at. My parents bought me a ticket and flew home to stay with them. And I worked 2 jobs, was in school doing an externship, and all while being a single mom, and made it.
So what jobs were you working when you came back?
I was working at a dental office. I was working at a restaurant as a server. I was doing an internship at another dental office.
What is that?
To where you learn your skills before you complete school. You have to have so many like clinic hours, like on-site hours before you can complete your schooling, and going to school. And then on top of that, having 3 to 4 hours of homework every night getting home, and then having to have her there while I'm doing my homework. So I would maybe get like 2 hours of sleep every night. And I did that for about a year. But I mean, you do what you got to do, you know, and it was me or her. I never received child support, never depended on anyone. I mean, thank God my parents were there to help me. But we made it, you know, and I was just young and naive and dumb and thought I was in love. Well, I mean,
you're still dumb.
What?
No, I was just kidding.
I mean, I was 17 when I met the guy, you know, and of course that first person who tells you what you want to hear. And, I was always taught to wait till marriage to have sex, and that's what I did. So I thought that was super special, you know, as far as, oh, I waited, I met the right person, you know, and I'm going to be with this person forever. And then it's like, you know, I guess I felt in my head, you know, because I lost my virginity to this person, because I'm married to them, it's almost like I was oblivious to the things that they were doing. You know, he cheated. We were together for about 5.5 years, and he cheated on me the entire time. And I would constantly like make excuses for him, or he would lie about it, and I would just constantly believe him because, like I said, I was young and dumb. When I was pregnant, he would beat on me, say cruel things. I remember one point, he like wouldn't let me have anything to eat or drink. He would lock me up in the house, you know, take the stroller with him to work, my cell phone, cut off the internet.
The stroller with him to work for what? To
where I couldn't leave the house to go for a walk with Cadence when she was a baby. I think it was just all about control with him. And then, so fast forward, the last straw was, I had some like moles on my face that I had to have removed because they instantly started swelling. And so I went to see a dermatologist, and they thought it was melanoma. So they had to instantly remove them that day. I come home, I walk through the door, and he's playing Call of Duty, and he looks over at me, and I have stitches all on my face, and he busts out laughing. And he's like, if you expect any kind of pity or sympathy from me, you're not going to get it. And I didn't know what to say, because like, who says something like that? And so I just start crying.
I mean, especially like saying it to a woman anyways, who's going to be self-conscious about having stitches. I mean, I'm a dude, and I'd be self-conscious about having stitches on my face.
Well, I wasn't even worried about that. Like, I'm the type, like, I'm a huge overthinker. I'm a worrywart. I'm a hypochondriac. So in my head, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I got melanoma. I'm going to die. You know what I mean? That's what I was worried about. And then, so in my head, I'm thinking, if I have melanoma, and this is something this is what clicked in my head. I said, if I had cancer and I had a short period of time left, where would I want to spend it? Mm-hmm. Would I want to spend the rest of my time here with him? Or would I want to take Cadence and spend the rest of my time with my family that loves me? Mm-hmm. And that's when I was like, I already made that decision. Right. So that's when we left.
So what advice could you give to someone who is going through something like that, or, you know, just trying, like, looking for a way out, you know?
Well, number one, always trust your gut. Yeah. I mean, I always had a gut feeling with him. You know, I always knew when he was lying, and then he would always like try to make an excuse. And I'm like, well, okay, he's my husband, I'll believe him. But I always knew, like, always trust your gut. And And then, know that you deserve better. If someone, especially repeatedly, does something like that, I mean, there's someone out there who's going to treat you the way you deserve to be treated. I mean, no one deserves what I went through to go through that. I mean, no one, especially if you have children.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
And we talked about a little bit about trust last week, as that being like a big part of our key things, because that's like one thing you don't have to set in your head or worry about, because in past relationships I've been in, you're like constantly in your head if they say like they're going somewhere or
and it's
doing
crazy
something.
Because of everything I went through in that relationship, and that was just a little bit. I could go on and on about everything that I went through. I never thought I'd be able to trust another man again, and I feel like it took me a while to get there with you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's crazy to think that I trust you 100%. Like you could say, oh, I'm going so-and-so, or I'll be back, or even on one of your trips for a podcast, whether you're going alone or with someone, and it's like, there's no doubt in my mind, there's nothing in my head saying, well, what if this or what if that, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm completely comfortable with you leaving, and I never thought I'd be at that point ever again.
What got you to that level?
Well, I mean,
well, no, I'm saying like what gets you to that level of trust in your head? Like, what did it for you? You know what I mean?
I think us just being together so long and seeing what kind of person you are. I mean, not just you telling me something, but
I think too, like, because I'm a natural flirt, I guess. And it's really not a flirt. It's more like, it's my personality.
I don't think you're a flirt. I mean, maybe in the beginning.
But it could come off to other people.
When you and I first started dating, I think I said that in the beginning, like, man, you're not, like, you're a flirt. But now that we've been together so long, I don't consider it that. You're just a really nice person. You like to make people laugh. You like to make people smile. And you're just really kind and happy and helpful.
Yeah.
And I don't see that as flirty, and you're very conversational, you like to have conversations with random strangers, and so do I, and it's just, I feel like we're both alike when it comes to that, and we love to laugh, and I don't feel like that's flirty.
Especially with old people. I love talking with old people.
Especially older women. They are so funny.
I'll take an old woman out tomorrow. I will.
But
I'll make them want to marry me.
I definitely think especially we've been together this year will be 8 years. So the longer we've been together is very huge and helpful. And not only hear, you say the reassurance you give me, but also seeing it, witnessing it as far as seeing the kind of person you are, not just around me, but with other people. And I mean, we've built that trust. That's not something that you can just tell someone. Yeah.
For some reason, though, it came right away for me when I was with you, though. I guess it was just as sweet as you were. And plus, I knew you through high school, so there was no doubt in my mind. And there's never been any kind of doubt. Like, even when we first got together, I don't know what it was. I can't think of one particular thing, but maybe it was because we went to school together. Maybe it was because I knew the relationship you came out of. I knew there was going to be trust issues with me, considering my past.
But it wasn't because of your past, though.
Right,
even if you had a horrible past, it wasn't because of you, though. It was because of my past relationship. Exactly. That's why I had trouble, and that's the hard part of going into any relationship, whether you had a troubled past or I had a troubled past relationship, that's why it's good to communicate about that. Like, look, this might be hard to develop or it might take a while because of X, Y, and Z, so. Yeah.
And it was like rough on me because I was pouring everything I could in at the beginning of I still do.
And then know how women and girls are. Yeah. I would make a snarky remark, or did you have some girl or whatever. And I'm sure it's frustrating, but it's like, that's women. That's how women are, especially if you have trust issues like me, who has been through something so crappy before.
Yeah. But like you said, though, I know it's not me.
But once you get past that
that
hump,
have happened,
everything is so much better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I felt like, obviously we're not at the peak of our relationship. I don't think you become the peak of your relationship until you're like in your 50s.
But now it's like you might say, hey, I'm going to go do that. I'm like, all right, see you later. Go on, get. No.
Yeah, I mean, that's how I feel anyway. I mean,
No, I don't.
No, I'm just saying, like, you don't have to keep tabs on me.
Right,
you know
right,
yeah. It's good for me, you know what I'm saying? But I don't feel like you're up my ass.
No.
Trying to figure out where I'm at or whatever. I can go with Jordan, hang out, whatever. I don't have to give you a play-by-play.
Now, if you are gone like overnight or an all-day type of thing, or literally out of state or something, I do say, hey, text me when you get there or call me just for safety reasons, and then I'm like, okay, you made it, just call me later.
Yeah. And I get homesick whenever I leave. Mm-hmm. It's weird. And I never used to like, boy, I can't wait to get out of this house. And it may have been like that at first because it's like new and I get to travel. Right. And I was like, oh, I get to go to California. That was a fun trip. And me and him connected a lot too. Me and
kept your mind occupied.
Nick and the Sus King, if you guys haven't heard that episode. But, that was like a really cool experience for me, seeing that part of the world that I've never seen. But like when I went to Sarasota, it was much different with Tanya Lee. She was great. She was amazing. But I don't know. It was just different. Maybe it was because she was a female, and and I
think you spent a little more time in your hotel room. Yeah, and you were by yourself.
Yeah, I was by myself. Yeah.
With Nick, you were. It's a way smaller town, and his house was right down the road. And the only time you were at your hotel room was when you went to bed.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you spent the whole time with him, so your mind was occupied.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, I get a little homesick if I go out. I do have another trip coming up to Missouri. With a guy, and you guys may have heard of him. He does the Only Dads hats. It's not.
I was getting ready to say the dad bod hats.
No, not dad bod. He does the Only Dads, but he's super inspirational.
I love me a good dad bod, by the way.
Do I got a dad bod?
Yeah.
Not much anymore.
It's still a dad bod.
I still got boobies.
You still got a dad bod. I don't like the whole 6-pack, 8-pack. I don't like this whole muscular gym.
It's a good damn thing because that is hard to do. Because I'm not
gonna lie.
Relationship, that was rough. I couldn't get a 6-pack.
I do like your arms all tight, like when you flex, and I feel it. I love that. And then I like these when you got them developed. What are they called? Your traps.
Yeah,
that's my favorite. I don't know what it is, but you get your trap developed, and I'm like, ugh. I love that.
It's called the love trap, is what I like to call it.
But I don't like the whole washboard. I don't like that. I like to feel like cozy when I lay on someone. I don't want to feel like speed bumps.
Like a one of those washboards.
Yeah, I don't want to feel that.
Well, my dad told me when I was young. So we were in the swimming pool. It was like at my stepbrother's baseball competition or something or whatever. And they were all in a swimming pool, and like I see all my guy friends like with flat chests, and I'm like looking down, and I got boobs, like my little sister at that point.
Oh my god,
we look just alike. We're the same cup size, baby. And Dad, I'm like, Dad, I didn't tell him this in front of everybody, but obviously you're sizing yourself up with a bunch of guys,
right?
Like, and they might have sisters there, so you're trying to make sure you look good,
right?
And I was like, why do my boobs look different than theirs? They're all flat chested. And he was like, son, women will love that when you get older. And boy, was he right. I mean, I see a set of flat chests now. I'm like, boy, you better eat you a cheeseburger.
I like your chest. I mean, you even had that in high school, and I love it. I mean, I
didn't like it in high school. I was so self-conscious in high school.
I love it. I think it's just like, it makes you just look more like a man to me, like big and buff.
Yeah,
and
y'all hear that? Yeah,
I like it.
It's grew on me, I have lost a little update for you guys that have been following my weight loss journey. I've lost quite a bit of weight. I'm down to 186 or 185 now. I haven't weighed that since high school. And I'll tell you my secret.
I think you're
Chick-fil-A.
I think you're about the same weight as when we first started dating, right?
No, I think I was like 215. I was pretty beefy. I was pretty beefy. I was bigger.
Really?
Yes, I was in the gym like 2 days Two times
that's
a week.
right. You were
not 2 times a week, but 2 times a day.
You were bulking. That's right. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I was 215.
It was all about gains.
Yeah,
I remember
get them
that.
gains. Got to eat right before bed, whether it's a ham sandwich.
I remember you used to send me those videos of you, what is it, powerlifting or something? Deadlifting. You'd send me those videos, and you'd say, this is just for you or something, or a wink or something. I'm like,
yeah. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Yeah, that's what would happen. The spring would go off, wouldn't it?
What spring?
You know, one down south.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Niagara.
Lord help them. Gosh. Let's keep it PG now.
I'm just saying. But yeah, well, thanks for sharing your little story with us. You know, I think it's important that people that are going through a certain situation and when to push the eject button when they feel the need, and understanding their self-worth. I feel like it's important because a lot of people don't understand their self-worth, and you guys are special. You listeners that are listening, like, everybody deserves that perfect person, I feel like. And, you know, at the end of the day, you know what you want, and 9 times out of 10, what you want is what you need. And, you know, thankfully, not unfortunately, but thankfully, I have what I need, and I have what I want at the same time, if that makes sense. If you're in a relationship and it doesn't feel right, you know, think in your head or write it down, like, what do I deserve? Like, what makes you happy? First, try to make that relationship work. I would tell you that, because it's way more expensive to get out of them than it is to get in them. But, you know, if you're past that and you've done all the talks and the counseling and this and that, you guys know what you need. You guys know what you deserve. So I feel like push eject and go find it, you know? And we found each other at the greatest time for both of us. I felt like, you know, I was at a point in my life where I was lost, going through a lot of issues, and, you know, he was like the little dove in the movies that come flying in and save the day.
I was just doing my thing, you know.
You was doing it. You did it.
I was just focused on myself, focused on cadence, focused on work.
I feel like that's the truth. Like, I feel like when you start focusing on yourself is when you find that person. And it's not necessarily you find them. It just happens.
Yeah.
You know, I tried to tell my mom that, and I feel like she's done that this time around.
Right.
And, you know, when she was married and got divorced here recently, she felt like you were, like, she didn't want to be alone. And now that she kind of took some time to herself and just like did her own thing, I felt like, you know, the stars aligned and she found that person, you know. So
I got a lot of
sorry, I interrupted you this time. We had the birds and the bees talk with Cadence.
Well, I've already had that talk with Cadence, but we
I felt like it was a great conversation.
Well, it was funny because after I had the conversation with her, this was like months ago, right after, I think a couple days later, I was like, oh man, I forgot to go over this. I forgot to go over that, like thinking in my head. So I
laid it out.
We went more into depth together with her. I mean, we showed her all these pictures on the internet of, you know, if you have sex, you're going to get this disease and you will die. You know,
we didn't tell her that. We did say you'd get these funky bumps if you're not safe, you know. And I feel like it's important, and Cadence is at that age to where she's going through puberty, and she's in 6th grade, and she's going to be going to middle school, and she's going to be catching feelings for people, or her body's just going to naturally do its thing.
Well, the scary thing is, you know, she's going on 12, 6th grade, and she said that there's been a girl in her school telling people that she's pregnant already. And that terrifies me. So it's like, instead of her hearing about sex and all this other stuff from kids in school, I'd rather her hear it from us.
Yeah, for sure. You know, and it all happened because I guess it slipped down here. I was in the office working, and it slipped that Cadence had a boyfriend. I'm like, well, this is news to me, you know. And I talked to Jordan a little bit about it too. And
what did he have to say about it?
I'm getting there. Okay.
Oh.
And
Excuse me.
I guess it slipped that she had a boyfriend. I'm like, I had talked to Cadence prior, and we had both talked to her that, right now she needs to be focusing on herself and learning everything she can learn to become successful, to get a degree, to get a scholarship. I mean, the girl's smart. She just took a ACT test or something. What was it?
An IXL test. She's in gifted and talented. She's reading, writing, all that stuff, like 2 grade levels above her own.
Yeah. She's on the right. She's got her foot on the right path.
There's plenty of time for boys in the future. She needs to focus on herself, focus on her school, her extracurriculars, form her own path to form her future.
Yeah.
Get herself together first to get her future ready. And then, once she starts her future, then worry about boys if she wants.
Yeah, I feel like she needs to figure herself out.
Right.
Which,
and have fun and be a kid and live life. And if you want to travel. Men are still going to be there. Do you know?
But Jordan had a good point. At the end of the day, we can sit here and preach, and you guys listening as parents or whatever can sit there and preach and tell them the facts and show them and explain sex and love and this and that. But she's really not going to understand it until she does experience it. And Jordan made a valid point as far as my thing is I was that guy who broke girls' hearts or tell them what they want to hear just to get what I needed or wanted in that moment. And I know how dudes work. I was one of them. I don't want her to go through that and give her body up to someone who is just in it for a feeling, and that's it. And then he moves on to the next person. And then, she becomes vulnerable to him, and then she's heartbroken, and then her mind's just jacked up. And during all this, she's got school and extracurriculars and basketball and this, and she don't need to be worrying about that at 12 years old or 13 or 14 years old. That's why I say wait, and then you can get, if you want to talk about boys or you have a feeling towards a guy, come talk to me. I'm a guy. I know that. If you want to learn about the female parts and all this stuff, go to your mama. And I told her again today, I was like, hey, that talk we had? And she's like, yeah. I was like, I want you to feel like I'm your best friend and that, you just come talk to me, and us have those decisions just because it's important, because she's at that age to where her body naturally is going to do things. If she sees somebody cute, it's just, it's how God made us, you know what I mean? And it's important to, when she does feel a certain way or have these thoughts, come to me and talk to me about it. I feel like.
Well, I just feel sorry for the first little boy, guy, whoever that does break her heart, take advantage of her, or whatever, because it's going to happen.
Oh yeah,
but I feel sorry for him, because whoever you are, I'm going to beat your ass.
We coming for you.
Yes.
And not just us. I know people. But
gang gang.
gang. But yeah, it's inevitable. It's going to happen, right? Does that mean what inevitable means? It's going to happen. That's a big word for me. I'm pretty impressed with myself.
But I just hate the thought of that, my baby girl, going through something like that. Because it's like, I've been through that. I know how that feels. And it's like, you don't want your child to go through that, even though it's going to happen.
And who knows, if she does go through that, maybe that's the wake up call, oh shit, I should have waited or whatever. But I think with her parents as who they are, and you as her mom.
Well, and we're pretty open.
You waited. I feel like she's that person who would.
I waited. My mom waited. My mom's mom waited. So hopefully we can continue that path with her.
But if she doesn't, it is what it is. They're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. I
just hope us being so open and honest with her, hopefully she can be as open and honest with us.
Yeah. And I feel like she would, you know what I mean? Because my parents weren't like that.
Right.
And I mean, my dad talked to me and told me what sex was, but they weren't like, hey, if you're thinking about having sex, you need to come talk to me so we can talk this through or something.
See, my mom was always so open and honest with me like that, and I think that's why I waited.
Well, she terrorized you.
Yeah, but also she was telling me, if you ever want to, we need to keep you safe and protect it, So yeah. I think her being so open and honest about everything, I think that's what, wanted me to wait. So hopefully we're successful with Cadence with that as well.
She had a boyfriend that night. I told her she needed to cancel that appointment. So right now I said, you don't need a boyfriend. You need to be focused on.
She came up to me that night and she was teary-eyed and she said, I just don't want to hurt his feelings. She goes, instead of telling him at school tomorrow, can I just call him real quick and tell him? I said, that's fine.
Yeah. And you can still be his friend. I just don't want her emotionally attached. She said, what do I say? I said, tell him the truth. My dad said I'm not allowed to have a boyfriend at this age, right now. I feel like that's okay. And I wish my parents would have probably done that with me a little bit. I mean, I was a little showstopper when I was in 5th, 6th grade. I mean, I had spiky hair. I'm going to be honest with you. I look terrible.
Toot, toot. You tooting your own horn over there.
Terrible. I had the worst haircut, Yeah.
Your school picture with your little mustache.
Yeah,
your
it was
hairy
awful.
Lip.
I don't know what my parents were thinking or what.
Do I still have that picture on my phone?
I'm sure.
Can we put it up here?
Yeah, if you still have it, I'll pop it up. But yeah.
It was like it's on the ladder, right, with the American flag in the background or something.
It's a weird. It's a classic '90s school picture, But yeah, if we have it, we'll throw it up. But I felt good after having that conversation. Yeah, And I told Cadence, I'm like, I'm gonna tell your sister the same thing,
But man, that last child. You ever watch all these TikToks and stuff like that? They're like, first child, middle child, last child. Yeah. I have a feeling Layton's going to be a problem in every situation we have. I mean, she's our wild child.
This kid brings me a fruit roll up at 7:00 this morning. Enough?
And she brought you a fruit roll up at 8:00 at night as well.
A fruit by the foot and a regular fruit roll up. And what do? You give it to her.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's the last kid. You want chocolate chip cookies for breakfast? Okay. As long as you get out of my face and you ain't crying, go for it. Yeah, and
she's not like gaining weight or anything either, so.
No, she's still a twig. I mean, she's a garbage disposal.
Although she does got a big belly.
Yeah, she's skinny everywhere except her belly. It almost looks like she's got like a growing tumor in her stomach. I mean,
that could be a problem.
I mean, it's huge. It looks like a pot belly.
I mean, her and Eli at that age look so familiar. Big heads, big bellies, and little legs and arms and torso. Like, no butt.
No, she actually does have a booty though. Eli didn't have a butt. She's got a booty just like you. She's got a little bubble butt.
Did y'all hear that? I got an ass.
But she does have a big head.
Yeah, she does.
We took her to the doctor. She's in the 98th percentile for her head size.
That's my girl. She gets it honest. Hey, a bigger head is room for a bigger brain. But unfortunately, mine doesn't. Mine has plenty of wiggle room in there.
I think Cadence said that one time you said that one time to Eli because he was talking about how big his head was, and Cadence said, well, I think you only got about 1 or 2 peanuts in there or something.
It's like a Pringles can with like 2 Pringles in it, and it's just rattling around. Well, guys, that sums up today. I'm about ready for bed, and I'm sure you are. Is your headache feeling better, though?
Yeah, I'm going to go binge watch a little bit of my new show, Love is Blind.
Oh, she's so addicted.
Good. It's so good. I'm on season 6 right now, which is, I kind of skipped. No, season 6. Yeah, I skipped through season 2, 3, 4, and 5. I went straight to season 6 because that's what everybody's talking about on social media right now. About that girl claiming to look like Megan Fox or whatever. She's so sweet, though. I just wish everybody would leave her alone.
What are they? Are they bashing her?
Everybody online's bashing her.
I think, honest to God.
If she turns to, like, if she
looks a certain way, she does look like Megan Fox.
You see it before Megan Fox had all this surgery and stuff.
She looks like Megan Fox did in the first Transformers movie she was in.
Now, it's not all angles, but if she turns a certain way and stuff, you do see it. But there's so many people online bashing her and everything, and I feel so bad.
She doesn't look like her.
Yeah, and she got this guy hyped up for nothing, and who
cares?
But my thing is, she's so sweet.
At the end of the day, like the show says, love is blind.
And the guy she's with is
He's a douchebag.
He is, because he's like, oh, looks don't matter, but he's brought it up at least 100 times.
I know. I was like, what?
And it's like,
douche.
oh, if it don't matter, why do you keep bringing it up?
Like, shut up.
Like,
about
my
it.
gosh.
Just kiss her.
But she's so sweet and so nice, and she just wants love so bad. And
yeah, a lot of the people on that show they seem super nice and sweet.
Yeah.
Would you be able to do that show?
I'm big on personality.
Yeah, I can tell by that from your previous relationship.
Well, it's all about that. The thing was, to be completely honest, the reason why I fell for my ex-husband was he could make me laugh. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about you. It's
not the looks for me. It's just the laugh.
No, you're very attractive, but that's not why, like, that's not what draws me to you. It's your personality. I'm big on someone who can make me laugh. I mean, looks are eventually going to fade. Looks aren't always going to be there.
I'm looking better as I get older. God. They might fade on you, but they are just appearing on me.
You're not going to be this fine wine when you become 90 years old, okay?
You watch and see.
You're going to be a dried up grape, okay?
That was a good one.
All the wine's going to be gone.
I'll have some dried up grapes, that's for sure.
Me.
2 of them.
Okay, you're going to be a raisin. Okay,
I got
you're
you.
You're going to be prune juice. Okay,
I'll give you some prune juice.
But the personality is key for me. I think I could do that. Speaking of that, so Nick Lachey and his wife, they made that show Love is Blind. I'm trying to look for it. They have a new show to where people who are about to get married, they've been in a relationship forever, they come on the show, and before they get married, they move in with a complete different person they've never met, never seen, nothing. They're allowed to date that person and everything.
And then go back to their relationship?
Or stay with that new person.
That's a show I want to try.
Yeah, I'm about to Google it and pull that up.
Would you do that?
That's a show you want to try?
I was waiting for you to catch on.
I thought you were saying it's a show you want to watch.
No.
Try my ass.
All right, guys. We love you guys. Seriously. Hey, if you enjoy the episode, hit the share button. Leave a comment if you're here on YouTube. Just remember, we stream across all of your favorite platforms, and continue to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, all the cool stuff. And honey, thanks for coming back on the show 2 weeks in a row. Like I said from the beginning, you guys are getting her more than me.
I mean, I'm always right next door, right in here. I mean, you can come see me anytime.
All right, and don't let her lie to you.
You ain't got to make an appointment.
Don't let her lie to you. She's going to go in there and binge watch her show and eat her Dutch chocolate ice cream that I just got her the other night. Half gallon. I looked in it today. We won't discuss how much is gone.
No, it's not half gone like it was this last time. It's just,
and you eat it in a circle. You eat it normal.
Yeah, because it's got to be even.
Get out of the tub and put it in a bowl. Put you a serving in a bowl and be done.
No, because what if I want more? I don't want to have to get back up and go get more, and it's my bowl.
That's the thing. You stop at that point.
No, because if I want to eat ice cream, I want a bunch of it.
All right.
Because I don't eat ice cream that often.
Well, enjoy your show. I'm going to do something in here, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure, like you always are. You're like a recluse in this office.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Thanks again. As always, stay awesome and stay sweet. We'll see you later. What was that? Nanu?
I come in peace.
Nanu. Ooh.